I'm going to introduce Jeff here, Charlton here in a minute, but before I do so, I want to just kind of give a little bit of a background for those that are new, and then kind of go from there. So first, we are not attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors. So if there's ideas or opinions or expressions here made, definitely go back and consult with your advisors. We are going to share from our experience what we've seen or what we have done personally, and or what we've seen some of our clients do. That does not mean that's right for you. So the other thing, these came about, these webinars, is probably, Jeff, half of our participants listening today are clients of ours, half are potential, hopefully someday clients of ours. And we try to focus and bring different subjects, subject matters, and guests to our webinar, and we also put this in our Rolodex, in not only in YouTube but also on our website. So there's many people that listen to this after the fact, because I do realize it is middle of the day or middle of the morning for people on the West Coast. So I'd say half of the guests listen to this after the fact. So whenever you're listening in, thank you, and we're going to leave plenty of time for question and answers. Today I've got a guest, actually, I'm excited to share and introduce you guys to, that I know helps many, in particular, entrepreneurs and business owners that are looking to grow or scale their business. And so before I introduce him to Jeff, who's here today, I wanted to also just give a little summary and or reminder. We at Horizon Trust Company focus on helping individuals, both business owners and just individuals that have retirement accounts, to understand what their options are, unlock their retirement accounts, and use them for how they would like, for the most part. There's definitely some rules, and we can kind of review some of those rules. But in general, Horizon's been around for over 15 years now, and we have over $1 billion, almost $1.3 billion, I think, in assets now. Very excited about that. But we're still a boutique small firm, even though we're that large. For the industry standards, we are nimble, we're quick, and that is what we specialize is speed and service. So for you individuals that are new to us and to our webinar, welcome. For those that have been with us for a minute, welcome back. And I'm just excited to share really this subject, because it's something that we've actually never talked about here on our live webinar. So again, one last thing before I introduce Jeff. This is going to be, today's going to be an interview style, and so we're going to talk about different things. You can chime in with some questions. Claudia is going to come in also to help answer any questions related to anything self-directed, but also on this subject of marketing as well that I'll introduce. So again, one last thing I'll say is, if you are listening and have an old 401k, IRA, traditional account, and just want to know more and want to know what your options are, that's what we're here to do at Horizon Trust, to serve and to give you content so you can make your own decisions on how you want to invest your funds. This is not for everybody and or for all of your retirement funds. I personally, like a Rogaine commercial, I use this myself. I invest in different asset classes, both real estate and businesses, and I get to choose them. I don't have someone else doing it for me, which is a pro for me, but for some people that could be a con, because you need somebody to do that for you, and that is totally acceptable and okay. I enjoy taking control and understanding how to use my retirement account. So if you're in that boat, if you have one of those type of retirement accounts, you'll see throughout this webinar and presentation that you can, in the chat, Claudia and Alicia and team will constantly, probably every 10 minutes, put in a link for if you want to learn more. It's a free consultation for you if you want to learn more about how you can do that with your account, take control, get it out maybe of the typical traditional stock market. But also you can, if you're already a client of ours, kind of think a little bit more next generational. Maybe it's your spouse and or children or grandchildren in Jeff and my case, right? So it just depends kind of where you are where you are in that. So today is unique because I think often when I have guests, And by the way, there's people that are typically always asking, "Hey, can I be on your webinar?" Jeff wasn't one saying, "Hey, Greg, I got to be on your webinar." I reached out to Jeff. We're in a similar mastermind boardroom group, and I don't know for how long, Jeff, but for at least 5, if not 10 years. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Because you're around with the leader of the group since the beginning, and so was I. So I
Yeah,
think we
so
should
10,
start.
we've been rubbing shoulders. I've been, Jeff, for me, when I decide on people that I want to work with or that I like, it's really about not the first time I meet somebody. It's just seeing consistency, the same people around having great results and other people using them. And Jeff started a company, and I'm going to let him give a better intro than me, but I want to first intro by saying he started a business. I don't know how many years, Jeff, how many years ago?
33 years, 1990.
33 years ago, and this is a space that I thought personally was it was no longer important, and or people weren't using it. And boy, am I wrong. I can tell you right now, he started a company called REI Print Mail, and this is direct marketing, the stuff you're seeing in mailboxes. And I have seen constantly every single year friends and associates and other people using his company year after year, having solid results, building their businesses, and or for you listeners that are entrepreneurs, building your retirement accounts. If you're looking to figure out ways to market and get more leads and more deals and potentially whatever it is that you're trying to market and scale in your business, you can be doing the same thing with your IRA. And this is why I think it's really important with Jeff today is think of it from your perspective, not only as a business owner potentially running your business in real estate, but also as a business owner owning your IRA. Let's say now you've got X amount of dollars in your IRA. It's if you are self-directing, you're in charge of finding deals for it. You're in charge of finding opportunities for it. You're in charge of picking out business opportunities for it. Jeff and his company been around 33 years. I thought we've been around for a minute. 33 years helping business owners year after year help with direct marketing. Direct marketing. Yep, Lisa, I'm getting there. In finding leads and scaling their business. And so Jeff is one of the best, if not the best in this space. And so I know I missed some things. I know you're a grandfather and parent, and we've talked about that, and you've got a big business. But Jeff, why don't you fill in some blanks here for those for all of my listeners here today on what you do specifically, and then we'll kind of just jump into it, some technical stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, we started in 1992, and I was a general commercial printing company for a lot of years, which means we can pretty much put your name on anything, whether it be paper and ink or apparel or ad specialties or signage, whatever. We did that for a long time, but it was about 2006 timeframe. I decided I wanted to scale, and I'm a St. Louis company. I'm located in St. Louis, Missouri, right in the middle of the country. And most of our business was local to St. Louis up to that point. But I realized to get bigger and scale, you got to get outside of St. Louis. And Greg's right. The printing industry has been a shrinking industry my entire career. But the one part that's not shrinking, the only part, is direct mail. And so, being the astute businessman that I thought I was, and I still think I am, I decided I need to get into two things. I need to get into part of the business that is growing. I need to be able to scale that part. And to do that, you had to go nationwide. And so I wanted to figure out something that worked and then take that same thing, just like a franchise would do, and then do the same thing in city after city. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You got one model that works over and over again. So we did that. And I personally have been a real estate investor for a long time, way back to when I was 18 years old. So it was natural to go into real estate. And I had some contacts there. So we started REI Print Mail in the 2006 roughly timeframe. It's a subset. My company name is actually Graphic Connections Group. REI Print Mail is a website within that company. But anyway, long story short, we started focusing on real estate investors. We got really good at it. We got really good at pulling the data and developing mail pieces that do actually get people's attention in the mailbox. So they raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested in what you have to offer. I want to sell my house to you. Or in other industries, we do mail for other industries too, but mostly it's real estate. And we got really good at it. And we have customers. We have over 2,000 customers that are active right now, all over the United States. We currently mail 3.5 million pieces of mail every single month, all for the real estate space. And I would say a high percentage of our customers do well. They get a good return on investment. They keep coming back. So it's not easy. It's always changing. The market, not only does the economy change, everything changes. So one of the things I've been really good at my whole career is staying ahead of whatever the trends are, trying to think of the next thing that other people are thinking about. And I've been pretty good at doing that. So when things like we're in a kind of a downturn right now in real estate, and we're already thinking of what we're going to do to help us get past that downturn and help people, even though it's a little harder than it was 2 years ago.
Okay, so Jeff, so it's direct mail, and I know it's working, but look, only by referral, because a lot of the people that are friends of mine that work with you continue to work with you and spend money on the direct mail marketing, right? And so if it didn't work, they wouldn't continue to spend the money, right? And so they're finding the results. But I was wondering if we could just break it down, maybe on a smaller scale. So for those that are listening that are entrepreneurs, that when I say entrepreneurs, that have a real estate business, let me say that, and they have staff, and you are looking to find deals and scale. That's definitely a scenario, probably your bigger client. But I guess my question for you is, as a self-directed IRA owner, one of the things people ask me all the time is, okay, I want to self-direct, but how do I find deals? I've gone to conferences, I've read about it, I've done I find some of my own deals, but I've never used direct marketing. So if I have, let's say, X amount of dollars in my self-directed IRA and I want to find deals, but for myself, do you have a turnkey kind of situation where a client like myself can call you and say, hey, I want to find deals in this area, and this is my parameters, and can you kind of give us A to Z as a client? Is that how it works, or how do you onboard a client?
Yeah, well, that's a lot of questions baked into one, but let me start with a statement that I've been saying for a long time is if you're not using direct mail as part of your comprehensive marketing strategy, you're leaving money on the table. What does that mean? It means, especially in the real estate space, a high percentage of the prospects, when I say prospects, houses that you'll want to buy as an investor are going to be owned by old people. And it's people that are getting up there in age, probably own their house for many, many years, maybe decades, probably haven't kept it updated. And maybe they get sick and they go in a nursing home, or maybe they die or whatever. Or they're just to a point where they're ready to get out of their house, and they have a lot of equity too. So one of the things you need in real estate to be able to because if you're going to invest in real estate, you have to buy a house for lower than the retail market value. You have to buy it at wholesale to make it make sense, especially if you're going to flip houses. But if you're owning rental properties and you're keeping them, you really need to buy. You make your money when you buy, and you got to buy it right. Well, what we do is we help find what's called off-market properties, which are properties that are not listed on the MLS, but they're people that are maybe thinking about selling, maybe they're not thinking about selling. We'll send them a piece of mail in their mailbox. And one thing about most old people is they go to their mailbox. Okay. And the reason why I said, by the way, I'm jumping around, but the reason why you're leaving money on the table if you don't use direct mail, a lot of people that are investors in the space want the shiny object from a marketing standpoint. I mean, they want to get that magic button they can press on their computer and the leads just flow to them and everything magically happens. And the reality is that the world doesn't operate that way. Okay. So, but there's all kinds of digital strategies. You can go to Google and you can go to Facebook and there's PPC, that's pay per click. There's PPL, pay per lead. You can just buy leads. But those are all digital. They're all generated digitally. Well, most people that are up there in age aren't digitally savvy. They're not going to Google and doing a Google search to sell their house, but they are going to their mailbox every day and looking at their mail. Okay. In fact, it's a statistical fact that 92% of Americans, no matter how they like digital marketing, go to their mailbox and still read their mail. So that's a way to pretty much guaranteed get to just about any target you're going for. So that's why, even if you're having success with other marketing, if you don't use direct mail, you're missing out on that part of the market that doesn't respond to digital marketing. So with that being said, the second question is, how do you onboard somebody? For somebody that wants to get leads, what do they do? Well, the good news about what we do is there's two aspects to a mail piece. You've got the data, in other words, who you're going to mail to, and you've also got the mail piece itself. What are you going to put in the mail? Well, we do both. We have a data company and we have a print house and a mail shop. So we can help you find the data. So if you're in an area, whatever, let's say you're in St. Louis, Missouri, you want to work St. Louis, Missouri, you say, my ideal prospect fall in these particular zip codes in St. Louis. You give us those zip codes and you tell us what kind of property you're looking for. Do I want, somebody with high equity? Maybe I want an absentee owner that's got high equity. Maybe I only want to be in these certain zip codes and I want 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses and I want it to be in the price range of 50,000 to 300,000. Whatever your market is, doesn't matter. You tell us that. We then go into our database, we use our expertise, and we pull leads that fit that criteria. And on top of that, we've developed an AI model, artificial intelligence, that can go in and take demographic characteristics of owners of those houses, and through the magic of AI, and I don't even know how it works, frankly, it's this computer magic, but somehow or another, it takes the demographics of the owners and the property characteristics and puts that together, and it scores the leads to say most likely to sell to least likely to sell. And we end up doing basically is throwing away about 40% of the list as least likely to sell, and we keep 60%, and that's who we mail to. And so then we have the list, and then we help you with the strategy based on your budget. And everybody has a different budget. You tell us how much money you have to spend in marketing, and we can tell you in your area based on statistics we have. And by the way, we have statistics because we track all the mail we do. So we know exactly what works in what areas, what lists work, what mailers work. We even know how many leads it takes to close a deal in general in certain areas, in general. Now, how many leads it takes to close a deal, that's more relying on your skill as a closer. But there are some general averages too. So we can take all that and say, okay, in your area, we think it's going to take you 30 leads to close a deal. And we know in your area, we're getting about a 0.9% response rate. So I do the math and go backwards and say, okay, you're going to have to mail maybe 3,500 pieces of mail to get one deal on average. So how much does that cost? And does that fit into your budget? That's how we do it. And if it doesn't fit in your budget, we tweak and we figure out something that works. And, it's a team effort. We offer what's called a free coaching call. My sales guys are direct marketing coaches, and we train them to be experts in marketing. They're experts at pulling lists. They're experts at building campaigns. Everything I know, I share with them, and we're constantly teaching our people how to be better at what they do so we can help our customers get better results. Because we know if you don't get good results and close enough deals to make a profit, you're not going to come back. You're not going to mail more. So it's in our best interest to help you make money, just like it's in Greg's best interest to help you make money in your IRA. So we have to win together. If you can't win together, there's no long-term relationship. And I'm interested in long-term relationships. So that's simple. It's not simple. The process is not simple if you try to do it yourself, but we have made it simple because we know all the pitfalls and we can make it easier. All you have to do is come to us and say, here's how much money I have. Here's my avatar. Build me a campaign.
Well, look, what I like about it is like you said, is I can focus on what I'm good at and or
Right.
my other job, right? And so for many of you that are listening that just don't have the time, but want to be able to find deals, but not hire a whole marketing team, right? I mean, so that's what a lot, people will do is they'll hire a marketing team. And so by you knowing and been through this for decades, helping individuals do this, finding the avatar or the demographic, either one, whatever you want to call it, finding that person, that client that you're looking for. I think of my son. I think of people who say, I live in California. I can't afford to buy properties in California. I understand that. So where should you go? And you kind of figure out where you might have a team, where you feel comfortable, what your price points are. And you go with Jeff and say, hey, Jeff and team, here's what I can afford. Here's the city I want to be in, the market I want to be in. So you do your due diligence. There's definitely work to be done. There is no, especially now, but ever in my life, there's no get rich quick. If it is, it's typically a Ponzi scheme or too good to be true.
Right.
There is work to be done. But what I love about what you do is I don't have to worry about that part of it. Of course, we need to tweak it and get better at it. And, we always want to get better results, so if something's working a little bit better in one demographic or one area or price point, great. But like for my son who's buying $50,000 to $150,000 homes, there's only a few places in the U.S. you can do that, and or certain little pockets that he goes and does that. So for you listening that have an IRA that kind of you know your demographic, what as far maybe your price point, somewhere where you have a contact and or relationship, This is the first kind of steps before, before probably, I assume, talking to you, Jeff, right? Is kind of knowing what that looks like, how much you want to spend. Then you have that a real conversation, and then you update often. So one thing I was thinking about as well is from an IRA perspective. So if you're listening to this and you have an IRA and you want to do deals and or a business with your IRA, the business of finding deals and wholesaling deals. That's another thing you can do. So let me just break it down from another perspective. Let's say that you have a self-directed IRA and you want to be wholesaling, right? Let's say your IRA only has 50 or $100,000, whatever the number is, right? So that means maybe instead of buying just one property, you want to be a more active, IRA self-directed investor. You can start a business. So your self-directed IRA can fund a checkbook LLC. Now this LLC is a business. You can be the manager of this business, right? And then this business can hire people to do certain things. Can hire Jeff's company, can hire a manager to oversee the properties, can hire a realtor. You can hire all these things. Your checkbook LLC, that's the owner is your IRA and not you. And so in this example I'm giving you, let's say that you said, hey, my budget is whatever. Let's say I want to spend $5,000 a month, and I don't know what the average number is, Jeff. I know you've got really big clients and you got small clients, but let's just say that I'm going to test something out and I'm going to spend five or whatever X amount of dollars on marketing. Your checkbook LLC could go out and find properties, get them under contract if it's in the right cities and states, right? Because some there is no wholesaling, right? That's changed recently. Right. And get them under contract. In your IRA, by the way, that checkbook LLC is the purchaser that gets it under contract and assigns it and sells it to somebody else. But you can start your own business using your checkbook LLC, finding deals and flipping deals if you want to do it kind of on a bigger scale than just finding a home. Because unless Jeff corrects me, says I'm wrong here, I don't know that Jeff's the solution for somebody who is wanting to find one property and be done with their IRA. This is more for someone who's looking to scale their business and or has other relationships that are looking for deals, and his company can help your IRA if it's a checkbook LLC business and or your personal business that's unrelated to your IRA. So that's typically, I assume, the client for you, Jeff, correct?
You're correct. Yeah. If you just want to do one deal, there's no reason to spend any money on marketing. Just go to a wholesaler that's already wholesaling and find a deal he's got that makes sense to you. And then you just do that one deal and you're done. So you're right. It's for somebody that's trying to run a business. What Greg's basically saying is you can run your entire business in your IRA. And all the key to the whole thing, I know I'm selling your product, but it's really a good product, is if you're doing a Roth, which that's all you do is Roths, right? Pretty much.
Well, no, I do. I'd say about 30% of our business is Roths, but a lot.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with a Roth, you don't pay any profit on the gains ever, or any tax. I mean, you don't pay any tax on the profits ever. So, and I have an example. I've told Greg this before. It's a friend of mine. He's a former fireman. He retired from being a fireman about 5 years ago. But about when they first made Roths legal, which I don't know how long ago that was, but it was a while back. He was one of the early guys to adopt it, and he was just had a couple of rental properties, put it in his Roth, and he had a fireman's income, so he didn't need to live on the money. Well, he turned that he's got a multi-million-dollar portfolio now. So I think it's about 15 years ago he started this, and he was doing minor flips, sort of as they fell into his lap. It wasn't like he was a serious real estate investor, but it all stayed in the Roth. Real estate prices went way up, and he's got a multi-million-dollar portfolio that he will never pay any tax on, and it's worth way more than his pension from his fireman thing. So it really is something. It's really good to do from an investment standpoint. You can't run your entire business through it because you have to have some money to live on, but you can cut off a portion of that to keep in there that you make money tax free. So it's really good.
Yeah, no, I mean, you nailed it. And so I feel like I see a lot of, or meet a lot of entrepreneurs who have these small IRAs and they don't get as excited about doing one deal. By the way, I'm not saying that's the case for everybody. I have no problem doing one deal, but I'm more like that now because back in my 20s and really most of my 30s, I was trying to get my IRA from here to here. And the only way to do that was to go to scale and leverage it and have a business that was finding deals and flipping deals, businesses and or real estate. Because, doing one deal at 25 grand and making, 5 or 6 grand was great, but it wasn't good enough for me now, then. Now it's different. Now that I've got a little bit of a bigger nest egg, I've slowed down where I don't want to do as much work on it with my retirement account. And so it really just depends on you. But what I like about this and this model is I run into it all the time. People come to me and they're like, I have this $100,000 IRA. I think I'm going to cash it out because I'm going to, use it for my business. I'm going to use it for whatever. You don't have to do that.
Right.
Also, people are like, oh, I want my $100,000, but I want it to be worth, $200,000 in a year. Well, that's actually possible. Uh, it's possible if you're doing what we're talking about, kind of leveraging it and or having a business about it rather than just doing one deal. A deal doesn't typically return 100% rate of return.
Especially in real estate. And Greg knows this. This mastermind we're in, it's all real estate investors, very successful real estate investors. And you hear stories all the time of guys making 100 grand on one deal. So it's not out of the question to make a lot of money in one deal, especially if you're buying right, which is finding off-market properties that you can buy at wholesale, which is what you use something like direct mail to do. So it really is completely reasonable to make a lot of money within your IRA without, you know, a million transactions.
Well, let's just for fun talk about really big deals. Let's I won't say his last name, but David spoke. We just heard him speak, right? This last weekend, and let's just talk about commercial deals for a second, right? So you could potentially, with your small self-directed Roth IRA, I could go to you, Jeff, and say, hey, Jeff, I'm looking for this avatar. I'm looking for commercial properties that are in this area because I want to wholesale them, right? Because my IRA, let's say, only has $50,000 in it, right? And I want Jeff to go find me commercial, I guess that's kind of a question, this example too, but maybe bigger assets, commercial, something else. Maybe it's some kind of, it's just bigger land, whatever the case is, but
Those
bigger
are
assets. And I want to wholesale it because my wholesale, David just talked about his, right? $1 million wholesale fee, a $500,000 flip. So I could put my Roth up, to hold this contract. Jeff, if I spent marketing and found one of those deals a year, just one, but I spent $5,000, whatever the number is per month, but I found one a year and turned that $50,000 into whatever, a couple $100,000 in a Roth. I would pay nothing in taxes. David should be doing that, by the way, on one of those deals every single year, and not paying taxes on those big gains. And so, do you also do commercial, or is it just residential?
we do. It's there's multifamily commercial. There's not too many people doing. We can do it, but I don't have hardly any customers doing it. They're doing commercial buildings, like a building, an office building. There's not a lot of that. People that do that's kind of a different way of going about it. There's not a lot of off-market commercial real estate to be had, but
So
land, yes.
multifamily though.
Multifamily, yes, and that's commercial. If you got a 100 unit apartment building, that's commercial property, and that's multifamily. So yes, we do that all the time. We have a lot of people who do multifamily and car washes, mobile home parks, car wash. For whatever reason, car washes and storage these days are super hot.
Yeah.
Every time I turn around, they're building more car washes. I've never seen so many car washes in my life, but they're still doing it. And the guys do that, make a lot of money.
And you're doing direct marketing for car washes then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
you know why
car wash? We're looking for land to build car washes.
land to build it. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like I've done a couple storage units in the last couple years, and I feel like people are turning to storage units and car washes because there's less human interaction. There's less people that F it up.
Yes. There's a lot of they talk about a service economy, and everybody and their brother is going to the car wash these days, I guess. So, and there's big, huge $1 million complexes they're building too. But the point is, people are making money doing that, and so it's the thing about direct mail marketing is I'm not saying it's the only marketing that works. I use in my own business to promote my own product. I use like 10 different kinds of marketing, and one of them is what we're doing right here. It's relationships, talking to people that we refer help us expand our network of people. But direct mail should be part of that marketing. And if you don't know where to start, because I can tell you, trying to do social media marketing, anything digital, I don't care if it's Google pay per click or Facebook pay per click, because I use it. I'm telling you, it's complicated, and it's a hit. They don't tell you how to do it either. So, and they always change the rules. It is really hard. We have not yet cracked that code, and I know a lot of people that do this have not cracked the code either. But direct mail would crack that code. It's not that complicated, and we know it works, and it's always worked. And it comes back to the fact that people go to their mailbox, and think about it. If you're looking at Facebook and you got your phone and you're flipping through, how much do you look at one ad? Like 1/100th of a second, if you even look at it. Well, direct mail, you got to walk to your mailbox and back, and you might walk straight from the mailbox to the trash can. But in that, 30 seconds to a minute or whatever it is, you're flipping through your mail. You got a couple of seconds at least for each mail piece to get somebody's attention. That's more than you have digitally. And if you're good at designing mail pieces and you have a good headline, or it's an attractive envelope that makes somebody want to open the envelope, you got a little bit more time. And so it works. And I would say there's one thing I didn't talk about. It's called the tail, or in direct mail. What happens a lot, and people that use direct mail on a regular basis will say this, that when you first send out a batch, you'll get most of your leads right away, but not all of them. You'll have people that call you 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now, maybe even longer. People save mail, and they're not, because remember, just because you send somebody a piece of mail or any other kind of marketing doesn't mean at that moment they get it, they're ready to sell their house. But they might be thinking about it, or they might be ready 2 years from now. And so if you can give them something that says, wow, that's somebody I might want to do business with that person sometime in the future, and they save that piece of mail, that's what I'm talking about, the tail. You'll get leads ongoing for a period of years, not tons of them, but you'll get leads. And the ones that call you 2 years later, those are almost always deals. Because when that guy saved it for 2 years and he calls you, he's pretty serious about doing business with you. And you do not have that with any other kind of marketing. Digital marketing is here and gone, and once it's gone forever. That's a huge thing, and nobody talks about that. But people that do this on a regular basis know that, and it has a compounding effect. Is what happens. The more you use direct mail, the more it works better over time because of that.
Well, look, as you're talking about that, I'm thinking about how I do it. And you guys that are listening, you can think about it as well. But that's what I do. I mean, for me, it's definitely way longer than on social media, right? Or on Google. So, I got that 30 seconds, and it's not the first time I see it. It's usually the second or third or fourth time. And then half the time when I know I'm eventually going to want that service in the next, whatever, few months, I put it in a little bin, and that's like, I don't throw it away, and
That's
I go
right.
back to it. Maybe it's because I'm old school, but the old school way works. And that's kind of
Well,
like, well,
you may be old school, but we're still human beings. And old school
yeah.
or not, if you see something you have interest in, you're probably going to save it.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And we do it. I do it for sure. Maybe it's because I'm old now. I don't know, but I feel like a lot of people do it that way, and they know they save it for later. And so that's a really good point as well. So I know for me, I said this earlier, and I just want to go back to this again. Is if you are self-directing, excuse me, if you're self-directing and or thinking about self-directing, one of the main questions that you or many people ask is, how do I find deals? And or how do I start a business using my IRA? This is one of the arms as far as marketing that everyone should definitely consider. And I want to go back to this again. Uh, Time after time, I see in our this little mastermind that we're in. When I say little, a few hundred people. I don't know what the percentage is, but I feel like 25-30% of them are using Jeff and his company and are consistently getting leads and closing deals on a monthly basis. I see it. I see their KPIs. I see what they're doing, and they're finding deals. They're staying consistent, just like anything, right? When I meet with my social or my online, people are like, "Hey, it's going to take 90 days before you get, you're going to start, getting some traction and leads." And obviously, we like to get traction in the first 30 days, and I'm sure Jeff, you and your team do. feel like in social media, it's not like that. It takes, from, your SEO work, it takes a few months before we even get one lead, is
Oh
how
yeah,
it
then
seems
they
to work.
change the deal all the time. They're constantly changing it. So what I just found out through this meeting we're at just together past weekend that YouTube that I thought the algorithm, they totally changed it a year ago and I didn't even know it. And we've been spending a fortune on YouTube that we're wasting our money doing it wrong because they don't tell you they change it, they just change it.
They just change it. And then something
Yeah.
you find out later, well, that's why I'm not having results.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, so I want to go to this segment here, just kind of go to some questions and answers that we might have in the chat. And that, look, anything related to, obviously for Jeff on REI, print mail, direct marketing, why now? I mean, what are the questions you guys might have if we didn't answer well enough, or just other questions, as well as self-directing, how you can use self-directing with direct marketing, and or just how to, if you want more about self-directing, in the chat, there's also a link. You can ask questions. Let's hit some of that. And I think Claudia might be here with us. I know I can click on here and
I
see
see one
Claudia.
question that was asked about a half an hour ago said, do you use direct mail with performance tracking? The answer is yes. We track everything we do so we know um, whether things work. Now, when you say with performance tracking, it's not so much on the mail piece. It's when we have the ability, we use tracking phone numbers. So when somebody calls a phone number, we know that that call came in, so we can log that a call came in, and it actually records the call. And there's other mechanisms for tracking to give you results. But that's how we know what works and what doesn't work, because we do track the results.
Perfect.
Lisa asked, so no QR codes.
Well, all right. So this is do we not? Yes, we can use QR codes, but I do not recommend it. Okay. And I don't recommend websites or emails either. And here's why. And this is all marketing, not just direct mail, unless it's digital. Digital is the only exception. When you're doing digital marketing, you'll have a link to click. That's a little different. But on anything in print marketing or where you're not tied to a computer, think about this. If you just think about yourself as a consumer, let's say you see an ad and you're interested. So you think, I want to go check that guy out. So I'm going to look him up and I'm going to look up his website and I'm going to go there and I'm going to say, not so much. No, thanks. And that's the end of it. And when that happens, the person that paid for that ad has no idea you went to the website, nor did they collect your information. If you have a phone number, and as the only way to respond, when you call, that number, caller ID captures the phone number. So even if I call and hang up, as long as I'm on for long enough for the phone number to register, the phone number is registered. So the guy paying for the ad can then call you back and say, hey, I saw you called. Do you have any interest? That's a huge deal. And we have found statistically, direct mail that uses anything but a phone number, you'll lose at least half your leads by doing that. So I do not ever recommend anything but a phone number on a direct mail piece.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's direct mail. It's not, yeah, it's.
But even if you do, I realize if you're on a Facebook ad, let's say, you got to click on the ad. But the sooner you can capture that person's information somehow or another, the better. There's another rule of thumb in marketing: the more times you click, the more people you lose. So you need to get to what you want them to do as quickly as possible with as minimal amount of clicks to keep the highest percentage of people interested in what you have to do.
Perfect. Well, I got Claudia on here too. Claudia, many of you probably know Claudia. She's been with us for a long time in all new business. You've talked to her or her team. We've helped. I don't know. I feel like a large percentage now of our clients that come on do a checkbook LLC, and that is the most flexible way of using a self-directed IRA. In the example that Jeff gave earlier about the firefighter. Using the checkbook LLC, you can use that LLC that's owned by your IRA now, and you can be the manager of that LLC. You don't have to be, by the way, but you can be, and you can direct those funds to a business, wholesaling or finding deals, or lending those funds elsewhere, or any kind of other deal. I'd say that's probably the number one thing. It seems lately, in cryptocurrency, there's people doing crypto, and you can do a percentage there, and in different real estate. So that's something a lot of people are doing. So one question I see here from Christine, she asked about the balance, how Horizon works on the fees. Our fee is based upon the account value, and that's any idle cash as well as assets held. So if you've got $100,000 and $80,000 out in a loan or on a deal and $20,000 cash, it's the full $100,000 because that is your account value, which is a good thing, by the way. You want it to be as big as obviously as possible. That is your full account value. So thanks for that question.
Yeah. Randy here is asking, can this marketing be funded by my self-directed checkbook LLC? It's a great question.
Yes, Randy, you can your business, your checkbook LLC, as long as as long as those costs are associated to the business and an investment of making money, which is what it would be doing, your checkbook LLC can do natural business. Now it can't in a checkbook LLC, and Claudia, you can chime in too. I mean, this is you probably, I mean, you know this better than anybody. The checkbook LLC is the investment, meaning your self-directed IRA invested into this LLC. And so the LLC is the investment, and its job is to make money. And so if that LLC, let's say, does marketing, pays a manager, buys an asset, whatever it does to create business and profit, I should say, and business and profit, and that goes back into the LLC, it can do that. Now, what it can't do, and Claudia, please clean up anything I don't say perfectly here, is you can't pay yourself a commission or a salary from that checkbook LLC or your spouse or kids. Believe it or not, you can pay your brother. That's one of the rules. That direction works, or uncle or someone, but typically a manager is best to do certain things to manage the asset or assets in that LLC. Claudia, anything I missed on that?
No. As long as the marketing is related only for the checkbook LLC and the growth of your retirement account, you can go ahead and do that as an expense. And you would just use your bank account tied to the LLC, and the expense would go on your documents as an expense for that LLC. So that's correct.
Yeah, what you can't do is, you can use your checkbook LLC to get all these leads in, and then you give it to your other
Yeah, you
LLC.
can't do That's why it has to be for the retirement account that it's associated for. And we actually do have a special promotion on checkbook LLCs for anybody that is interested or that wants to learn more about checkbook LLCs. From now until Friday, we have a Halloween special of $500 off a checkbook LLC. So we sent those emails out. If you're interested or want more information, just let us know. Drop a comment on the chat, and we'll have one of your IRA specialists contact you.
Yeah, perfect.
I don't see a lot of questions coming through today, so let's go ahead and if you guys have any questions or anything, it can be related to self-directing IRAs. It can be direct on direct mailing. Anything that you guys want to go ahead and have answered, let's go ahead and put it in the chat, and we will have Greg chime in.
Yeah, I think this was a curveball too. I like that it's a different subject. We always talk about different investment classes. This is something that people, like I said, ask about all the time. So what next? Now that I have my account, I want to own a business with my checkbook LLC. How do I find leads? Jeff's the guy. I mean, that's partly that Jeff and his team. I assume also that you get a point of contact there at your office, right? So they'll work directly with someone there. I know you got a big team, so.
Now we've got, if you go to reiprintmail.com, reiprintmail.com, and just go to the homepage, there's a button there that says set up a call, and we have what's called a free 15-minute coaching call. And it's not a hard closing. You don't have to worry about anybody who's going to ram anything down your throat. It's just a call to ask you questions like, what do you want to do? What are your goals? What's your market? What's your budget? And we try to see if there's a fit, if we can help you. And if we can't help you, we'll tell you. Not every single person can be helped with direct mail, but majority can. If you're serious about trying to get leads and run a business, we can usually help you and put together a campaign that's going to work for you.
Also, for those listening too, you've got this, I put reiprintmail.com there for you as well. And Jeff, you can always call our company and our office and we can connect you with Jeff as well. There's a lot of, if you've got referrals or people that are running a business, that are looking for marketing. I refer everyone over to Jeff, so he's been a great contact. So, okay, a little bit more information on the LLC checkbook, please. I'm interested in learning more about the checkbook LLC. I have a solo 401k. Claudia, you want to give a little? They've heard a little bit from us. Do you want to give a little summary on that too? Because we've mentioned it now a few times, and that's a lot of people are using this checkbook LLC.
Yeah. So with a checkbook LLC, it's basically an investment within your IRA or 401k. So what we would do is we would set up your account at Horizon Trust, whether you already have an account or you're going to go ahead and transfer funds from an existing account somewhere else. We'll go ahead and set up your account. We will actually do a liquidation call with one of our liquidation specialists to call the resigning custodian along with you on the line, and we'll let them know that you're going to transfer your funds over to Horizon Trust. Then we'll send in paperwork. We'll do that within 24 to 48 hours, starting the process of the actual transfer. Once we receive the funds here at Horizon Trust within 5 to 10 business days, then if you're going to go ahead and do a checkbook LLC, we would set that up at the same time. That way it's ready so that when the funds are here, we can go ahead and get the checkbook LLC funded. The checkbook LLC will be set up in the name. The owner of the checkbook LLC will be your IRA or your 401k, making it a qualified investment of your IRA or 401k. We'll set you up with a bank account. We'll send a debit card over. Well, the bank will. And then once the funds are here, we'll go ahead and fund the checkbook LLC. So total turnaround time between the time that you get your account established and the checkbook LLC is ready to start investing would be about 5 to 10 business days, depending on the resigning custodian. So super fast. And if you already have an investment in mind, then you can go ahead and start doing the paperwork in the name of the LLC once the LLC is established. And you can go ahead and have that ready so that when the funds are there, you can just do a wire and start your investment that way. A lot of our clients are taking advantage of this. They love it. They love having the control of the actual investment instead of coming to us. If you don't have the checkbook LLC, we do transactions every day. It takes 24 to 48 hours straight from your IRA. So don't think that you can't do a transaction. We just need the supporting documentation. All the documentation, the investment has to be in the name of the IRA or the 401k. So it's just a little different than a checkbook LLC. But again, we'll guide you through the process either way, whether you decide to do a checkbook LLC or do it from the IRA, and we'll get you invested as fast as possible.
Now, from a layman's standpoint, I've just looked at some of these questions. Looks like there's a little confusion as to that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're just running a business within your IRA, right? That's all it is, right?
Yeah, so it's not an active business. It's a disregarded LLC that is growing your retirement account. So you would do investments that are not specifically active investments, but you can go ahead and buy a property and do all the rental income goes back into the checkbook LLC. You can invest into syndication deals. You can buy into companies that are not owned or operated by your linear heritage. So mom, dad, grandmother, kids, grandkids, none of that prohibited prohibited people. But yeah, it's just an investment, and you can go ahead and pay any fees that are associated with those investments through the checkbook LLC. So if you had a property and you needed to pay the light bill, or you needed to pay a contractor to go ahead and fix the roofing, then you would pay it through the checkbook LLC because it's an investment. It's part of the expenses of that checkbook LLC.
Again, someone asked about it being a prohibited transaction. If you are not careful, it could be. Meaning, if you are if you're paying yourself something, if you paying, getting a commission on something, if you are commingling non-IRA money with IRA money, you've got to keep it as an investment. You can oversee it. The best way to make sure you don't have any problems with that is I recommend having someone manage the assets in there and not yourself. Why? Because it's easy for all of a sudden yourself to go down to that asset. If it's a business, let's say it's a coffee shop, and you start, get behind the counter for an hour, that's prohibited. If it's a real estate deal and you start swinging the hammer for a minute, that's prohibited. Thank God you won't find me do that, no matter what. I won't do anything prohibited. But you do have to be more careful. And so I would if you're unsure, if you've got an idea, a business idea, and what you can and cannot do, schedule an appointment with us. We'll give you some do's and don'ts and help you through that process. So yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people are asking what the maintenance fees are for a checkbook LLC. It's just like any other LLC. It is going to have renewal costs at the end of the year or when the year comes to a renewal for that LLC. But other than that, that would be the only thing that it would inquire.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Great. I think
there's any other-
I don't know if there's any more questions here that we didn't. Yeah, can we renewal fees, wire fees, cost of buy checks refunded by checkbook LLC? I believe all those are a yes. Yeah, as long as it's all associated to your checkbook LLC. Yeah.
That's correct. Yes, it's at the end of the year or when your renewal is up, you can go ahead and call us and pay with a debit card. Well, it wouldn't be us. It would be the entity formation company. We don't form the LLCs for you. They go to an entity formation company that does it. So when your renewal is up, you can use the debit card that is associated with that checkbook LLC to pay those renewals. And a lot of people are asking what the fees are to start it. So to start a checkbook LLC, it's $1,500. From now until Friday, it's $500 off, making it $1,000 to go ahead and set it up. So if you're interested, definitely take advantage from now until Halloween Day.
Good. Well, I think that's it for today, and we're just about right on time, so it's perfect. So look, I want to just and I'll let Jeff have the last words. My last words are, I've seen Jeff. I've seen that he's consistently proven to many individuals, friends of mine, consistency and results. If you are looking for that and or just not sure, but you want to look into it, please reach out to Jeff. He's a great resource, he and his team. So thanks for being on here today, Jeff. Any final words for the listeners?
Put a plug for Greg and his team. I think these guys are great. They've been around. Longevity does mean something, and I think you've been around for at least 15 years, right?
Yeah.
And that does mean something. So it's not fly by night. It is an honest businessman that really is trying to help people. And that's what we're trying to do too. I would say there's no deal if both parties don't win, and we're always looking for win-win situations. So I think Greg does the same thing.
Well, thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Claudia. Thanks for those listening. Again, you've got our information. Please reach out. Watch us on YouTube. Follow us. Reach out to us. We'll answer all any questions you got. Have a great Tuesday. We will talk and see you in 2 weeks. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. There's lots more great content for you to learn and enjoy and apply to. And so anyways, click on the link below and listen to more videos or set an appointment with us. We look forward to hearing from you and also helping you.